Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You're standing at the edge of a shimmering oasis, somewhere in what we now call Morocco, 300,000 years ago. The air is heavy with the scent of sun-baked earth and wild grasses, and the horizon stretches endlessly under a sky that feels too big, too raw. There's a hum in the air, grunts, rustles, the distant roar of something massive moving through the brush. But what stops you in your tracks isn't the landscape or the sounds. It's the people. Not one kind of human, but 7 different species, all gathered around this same watering hole. Their eyes catching the sunlight. Their lives intersecting in a moment that will never happen again. Welcome to the human wild, where we're about to step into a world so strange, so alive, it feels like another planet. Let's dive into this story. A tale of survival, ingenuity, and the spark that made us who we are. You're standing on the cracked, dry ground near the water, and you see them. Homo sapiens, our direct ancestors. They're lean, almost wiry, their skin glistening with sweat under the relentless sun. They don't look like much compared to the others here, fragile, even, but there's something in the way they move, the way they glance at each other, like they're sharing a secret no one else can hear. Not far off, a group of Neanderthals huddles together, their stocky frames built for power. Their heavy brows and broad noses make them look like they've been carved from the earth itself, survivors of cold, unforgiving lands. Their eyes are sharp, scanning the horizon, and you can tell they've seen things: harsh winters, hungry predators, battles won and lost. Across the water you spot the Denisovans, a group we know mostly from fragments of bone and whispers in our DNA. They're harder to pin down, their features a mix of rugged and refined, like they've wandered from mountains to plains and back again. Then there's a lone Homo erectus, standing tall and lean, his silhouette almost ghostly against the glare. His kind has walked the earth for nearly 2 million years, and he carries that weight in his steady gaze. Nearby, Homo heidelbergensis moves with a quiet confidence, their tools simple but effective, like they've cracked the code to survival long ago. Homo naledi, small and nimble, dart between the others, their hands almost modern but their minds a mystery. And then, almost hidden in the tall grass, you catch a glimpse of Homo floresiensis, the hobbits of their island world, barely 3 feet tall, their movements quick and cautious. This isn't a peaceful gathering. It's a fleeting moment, a rare collision of species driven by the same primal need: water. The oasis is a magnet in this parched land, pulling them together, but it's tense. You can feel it in the air, the way a Neanderthal grips his spear a little tighter when a sapien steps too close, the way a Homo floresiensis shrinks back into the shadows. They're not here to make friends. They're competitors, each fighting for a foothold in a world that doesn't care who wins. Some might trade a sharpened stone or share a scrap of meat, but others might clash, their differences sparking into violence. Imagine a sapiens watching a Neanderthal, wondering if this hulking figure is a rival or just a meal waiting to happen. Imagine a Homo naledi, small and vulnerable, knowing they can't afford to be seen. What makes this moment so extraordinary is how rare it is. 7 species of humans, each shaped by millions of years of evolution, standing together under the same sun. It's a snapshot of a world on the brink, a world where one of these groups, us, Homo sapiens, will rise above the rest. We're the underdogs here, no question. Neanderthals have the muscle, Homo erectus the endurance, Denisovans the adaptability. But sapiens have something else, something that doesn't show in their slender frames or simple tools. It's in their minds. They think differently. They see patterns, tell stories, dream of things that don't yet exist. Their language isn't just sounds. It's a web of ideas, a way to share plans, to build futures. It's like a virus spreading from one mind to another, binding them together in ways the others can't match. Let's linger here for a second, because this scene is a miracle. These 7 species aren't just different tribes. They're different threads in the story of humanity, each with its own strengths, its own struggles. Neanderthals, with their big brains and bigger muscles, are built for a world of brute force. Denisovans, scattered across Asia, have learned to survive in places no one else dares. Homo erectus, the old-timers, have outlasted everyone else, their stamina unmatched. Homo heidelbergensis bridges the gap, their tools a stepping stone to something greater. Homo naledi, with their strange mix of primitive and modern, are a puzzle we're still solving. And Homo floresiensis, tiny and elusive, are proof that even the smallest can carve out a place in this wild world. But the world itself is wilder still. The Earth 300,000 years ago isn't the one we know. The climate swings like a pendulum. Ice ages lock the land in frost, then give way to warm, wet spells that turn deserts into grasslands. Forests shrink, savannas spread, and oases like this one become lifelines. The animals here aren't the ones you'd see on a safari today. They're giants, monsters, creatures that make your heart race just thinking about them. Picture a short-faced bear, a beast so massive it towers over 11 feet tall when it rears up, its jaws strong enough to crush bone like kindling. Or a saber-toothed cat, Smilodon, with fangs like knives, moving in packs with a precision that's almost surgical. These aren't just predators, they're forces of nature, and humans, all 7 species, are just another part of their world. Sapiens, though, are starting to stand out. They're not the strongest, but they're watching, learning, thinking. A group of them might track a herd of giant bison for days, noting which ones limp, which ones stray. They're not just hunting, they're planning, turning the chaos of this world into something they can control. And that's the spark that sets them apart. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the oasis, you can feel it. Something big is coming. The sapiens are about to change everything, and this fleeting moment, this gathering of 7 species, is the last time the world will look like this. The light fades over the oasis, and the air grows thick with the sounds of night. Crickets, distant howls, the rustle of something massive moving through the dark. You're still here 300,000 years ago, but now the stakes feel higher. The humans have scattered, each species retreating to their own corners of this brutal world. But the tension lingers. This isn't just a story about people sharing a watering hole. It's a story about survival in a place where everything, from the ground you walk on to the creatures you meet, is trying to kill you. Let's walk through this landscape and meet the monsters that shaped our ancestors' lives, the ones that forced them to get clever or die trying. Imagine you're a Homo sapiens, crouched in the tall grass, your breath shallow, your eyes locked on the horizon. You hear it before you see it, a low, rumbling growl that vibrates through your bones. Then it steps into view, a short-faced bear, a colossus of fur and muscle, its head swinging like a battering ram. This thing weighs 2,000 pounds, maybe more, and it can run 40 miles an hour, faster than you could ever hope to move. Its claws are like sickles, its teeth built to crush anything that gets in its way. If it sees you, there's no outrunning it. Your only chance is to stay still, to blend into the grass, to hope it doesn't catch your scent. This isn't a bear you can scare off with a shout or a stick. It's a killing machine, and you're just another meal. Now shift your gaze to the open savanna, where a herd of giant bison grazes, their hooves kicking up clouds of dust. You're tracking them, hoping to bring one down for your band, but you're not the only hunter here. In the shadows, you spot them. A pack of saber-toothed cats, Smilodon, their eyes glinting like embers. These aren't lone predators. They hunt together. Their movements so coordinated it's like they're reading each other's minds. Their fangs, nearly a foot long, are designed to slice through thick hides, to hit arteries with pinpoint accuracy. They're not just after the bison, they're watching you, too. One wrong move and you're the one bleeding out on the grass. These cats don't care if you're sapiens, Neanderthal, or something else entirely. To them, you're just meat. And then there are the giants, the creatures that don't hunt you but can still end you. Woolly mammoths tower over the plains, their tusks curving like scimitars, their footsteps shaking the earth. They're not predators, but they're not harmless. An angry mammoth can crush a dozen humans with a single charge, its massive body a wall of muscle and bone. Yet your ancestors, those fragile sapiens, hunt them. Picture it. A band of hunters, armed with nothing but sharpened sticks and stones, facing a beast that weighs as much as a truck. takes courage, but more than that, it takes strategy. They don't just charge in, they plan. They wait, they strike when the moment is right. Every kill is a victory, not just for food but for survival itself. The hides for warmth, the bones for tools, the tusks for weapons. The dangers don't stop there. At night, packs of hyenas prowl, their jaws strong enough to splinter bone, their eerie laughs echoing through the dark. Cave lions, bigger and fiercer than any modern cat, stalk the hills, their roars like thunder. Even the skies hold threats. Giant birds like the host's eagle, with wings wide enough to blot out the sun, could snatch a child or a Homo floresiensis in a heartbeat. This is a world where every shadow hides a threat, where every step could be your last. It's a world that demands more than strength, it demands cunning. So how do sapiens survive? They get smart. They watch the world like it's a puzzle to solve. They learn the tracks of a mammoth, the habits of a saber-toothed, the signs of a storm on the horizon. They don't just react, they anticipate. A group of sapiens might spend days setting up an ambush, driving a herd into a narrow valley where it can't escape. They communicate, not just with grunts but with words, gestures, plans that turn a band of individuals into a single, deadly unit. They're not the strongest, but they're the most coordinated, the most creative. Fire is their secret weapon. It's not just a tool. It's a shield, a beacon, a way to reshape the night. A blazing fire keeps the hyenas at bay, makes the saber-tooths hesitate. It's a signal to other humans, a way to say, we're here, and we're not going anywhere. But sapiens take it further. They use fire to harden their spear tips, to clear brush for better hunting grounds, to transform the world around them. While Neanderthals and Homo erectus use fire, too, sapiens make it their own, turning it into a symbol of their will to survive. Tools are another edge. Neanderthals have their stone axes, Homo erectus their choppers, but sapiens are restless. They experiment, chipping flint into thinner, sharper blades, binding them to shafts for better reach. They invent the outsmarted, a simple lever that turns a spear into a missile, letting them strike from a distance. They're not just crafting weapons, they're crafting possibilities, ways to outsmart a world that's bigger, stronger, faster. Every new tool is a step toward control, a way to turn the chaos of this planet into something they can master. As the stars will overhead, you can see it in the sapiens camp, a flicker of something new. They're not just surviving, they're building. They're planning hunts, sharing stories, dreaming of a world they can shape. The other humans, Neanderthals, Denisovans, the rest, they're tough, but they're rooted in the moment. Sapiens are looking ahead, imagining a future where they're not just players but rulers. The firelight dances on their faces, and this is the beginning of something unstoppable. The dawn breaks, painting the sky in streaks of gold and crimson, and the sapiens are already moving. Their camp is alive with purpose, hunters sharpening spears, children mimicking their elders, a low hum of voices weaving plans for the day. This isn't just another morning in a world of monsters. It's the start of a revolution, one that will reshape the Earth in ways no other species could dream of. Let's walk with these early sapiens and see how their restless minds, their endless tinkering, turn them into something more than survivors, into architects of the future. Fire is where it begins. You've seen how they use it to fend off predators, but it's so much more than that. When sapiens cook their food, they're not just filling their bellies, they're fueling their brains. Roasted meat, softened roots, charred plants. These unlock nutrients that raw food can't provide. Their minds grow sharper, their bodies leaner, their energy boundless. Around the fire, they don't just eat, they talk. They share stories of the hunt, lessons from a failed trap, ideas for a better spear. The flames aren't just a tool. They're a gathering place, a spark for connection. While Neanderthals and Homo erectus use fire, too, sapiens turn it into a way of life. They use it to clear forests, creating open spaces for hunting. They use it to signal across vast distances, to wage war on the wilderness itself. But it's their tools that really set them apart. Look at a Neanderthal's toolkit: stone hand axes, sturdy spears. They're effective, but they haven't changed in thousands of years. Homo erectus is even more stubborn, clinging to basic choppers that have served them for millennia. Sapiens, though, they're never satisfied. They chip flint into razor-thin blades, experiment with bone and wood, bind their tools with sinew for better grip. They invent the Clovis point, a spearhead so sharp it can pierce a mammoth's hide. They create the bow and arrow, a weapon that lets them kill from afar, safe from claws and tusks. These aren't just tools, they're ideas made real, proof that sapiens are thinking beyond the next meal. It's not just about the tools themselves, it's how they use them. Sapiens don't just hunt, they strategize. They study their prey, learning its rhythms. A band of hunters might track a herd of deer for days, waiting for the moment when the weakest straggler falls behind. They work together, their movements synchronized through words and signals. Their language isn't just a way to communicate. It's a way to think as one, to turn a group into a single, unstoppable force. While Neanderthals hunt in small, tight-knit groups, sapiens form larger bands, coordinating attacks with a precision that's almost uncanny. And they're not just living day to day. Sapiens start to plan for tomorrow. They build shelters, not just caves or lean-tos, but structures that last, places to return to after a hunt. They store food, drying meat or burying roots to survive lean times. They mark their territory, not just with physical boundaries but with symbols, carvings on bone, ochre smeared on rock. These are more than decorations. They're claims, declarations that this land, this life is theirs. While other humans follow the herds or the seasons, sapiens are putting down roots, however shallow, and dreaming of something bigger. That dream spills into their social world. Sapiens form larger groups than their rivals, bands of dozens or even hundreds, bound by shared stories and beliefs. They trade not just tools or food, but knowledge. A new way to shape a blade, a trick for preserving meat. It spreads from one group to another, carried by travelers or traders. This is the beginning of a network, a web of ideas that grows stronger with every exchange. Neanderthals and Denisovans stick to their own, their worlds small and isolated. Sapiens are building something else, a protoculture, a way to share and amplify their ingenuity across continents. But this revolution has a shadow. As sapiens spread, they disrupt. Their hunts are too effective, their fires too widespread. A herd of bison that once thundered across the plains might vanish in a single season. A forest cleared for hunting grounds leaves other creatures, sloths, deer, even other humans, without a home. Competition for resources grows fierce. Sapiens, with their numbers and their tools, claim the best watering holes, the richest valleys. Neanderthals, pushed to the edges, struggle to keep up. Denisovans, scattered and few, feel the pressure mount. And when sapiens interbreed with these others, they bring something else, disease. Their bodies carry pathogens that their rivals, with their small, isolated populations, have no defense against. It's not intentional, but it's deadly, a silent weapon that weakens entire groups. This is the sapiens' advantage, adaptability. They don't just survive change, they thrive in it. When the climate shifts, they shift with it, finding new ways to hunt, new places to live. When a predator appears, they outsmart it, turning its strength into a weakness. When a rival blocks their path, they outmaneuver or outlast them. Neanderthals are tough, but they're rigid, their tools and lives built for a world that's starting to slip away. Homo erectus, ancient and enduring, can't keep up with the pace of change. Sapiens, though, are relentless. They're not just another species. They're a force, reshaping the earth with every step they take. The world is changing, and you can feel it. The air carries a new weight, a sense of something ending. The sapiens are spreading, their fires dotting the landscape, their tools growing sharper, their ambitions bigger. But as they rise, something else is falling. The great beasts that once ruled this planet, the other humans who shared it, they're starting to vanish. Let's walk through this moment, this slow-motion catastrophe, and see how sapiens, without meaning to, become the architects of a new Earth, one that's emptier, lonelier, than the one they were born into. Picture a herd of woolly mammoths, their tusks gleaming in the dawn light, their breath steaming in the cold. These aren't just animals, they're giants walking ecosystems. A single mammoth can feed a sapiens band for weeks, its hide clothing them, its bones building their homes. But sapiens don't hunt like their rivals. They don't take just what they need, they take everything. Their Clovis points and otlotls make them too good at it. A herd that once numbered thousands might be gone in a generation, picked off one by one until the plains fall silent. It's not cruelty, it's survival, pushed to its extreme. Sapiens hunt the young, the old, the weak, until entire populations teeter on the edge. It's not just the mammoths. Ground sloths, massive and slow, once roamed the forests, their bulk a shield against all but the most determined predators. Now, their targets, their size no match for sapiens' relentless ingenuity. Saber-toothed cats, those deadly pack hunters, face the same fate. As sapiens claim the best hunting grounds, the cats lose their prey, their territory. Even the short-faced bear, that unstoppable juggernaut, can't stand against a band of sapiens with fire and spears. The bones pile up, mammoths, sloths, bison, cats, scattered across the landscape, a testament to sapiens' efficiency. But it's not just hunting that's changing the world. Sapiens are reshaping the land itself. Their fires, meant to clear brush for hunting, burn too wide, too hot. Forests shrink, turning into grasslands that favor some animals but doom others. Ground sloths, dependent on dense woods for cover, find their homes vanishing. Mammoths, grazing on vast plains, face new competition as sapiens alter the landscape to suit their needs. The climate, already swinging between ice and warmth, feels the strain. Sapiens aren't just living in this world. They're rewriting it, creating ripples that touch every creature, every tree, every river. The other humans feel it, too. Neanderthals, once masters of the cold north, find their caves and valleys claimed by sapiens' bands. Their strength, their tools, their fire, they're no match for sapiens' numbers, their endless adaptability. Denisovans, scattered across Asia, face the same pressure, their small groups dwindling as sapiens move in. Homo erectus, the ancient wanderers, can't keep up with a world that's moving too fast. Homo floresiensis, hidden on their islands, might hold out longer, but even they feel the world closing in. Competition for resources, water, game, shelter, turns fierce. A fertile valley that once supported a Neanderthal clan becomes a sapien stronghold, its caves marked with their symbols, their fires. And then there's interbreeding, a quiet but devastating force. When sapiens meet Neanderthals or Denisovans, they don't just trade or fight, they mix. Their children carry sapiens genes, but also sapiens diseases. These pathogens, harmless to sapiens' adapted immune systems, are deadly to others. A single encounter, a shared meal, a moment of contact, could spark an outbreak that wipes out a Neanderthal band. It's not war, not in the modern sense, but it's a kind of biological conquest, unintentional but relentless. Over generations, these diseases, combined with competition and habitat loss, grind down the other humans, leaving sapiens alone on the stage. The evidence is written in the earth. Archaeological sites from this time show a chilling shift. Megafauna bones grow scarce, replaced by signs of sapiens, fire pits, tool scatters, butchered remains. In places like Australia, where sapiens arrive tens of thousands of years later, the pattern is stark. Giant kangaroos, massive wombats, towering birds vanish within a few thousand years. In the Americas, the story repeats. Mammoths, mastodons, giant sloths, all gone as sapiens spread. It's not just hunting or fire. It's the weight of sapiens' presence, their ability to reshape the world faster than it can adapt. But this triumph comes at a cost. Sapiens lose, too, not just lives to predators or failed hunts, but something deeper. Every mammoth felled, every rival pushed aside, leaves a mark. They start to feel the weight of what they're doing, the world they're unmaking. Their tools get sharper, their hunts more efficient, but their hearts carry a new burden. They're not just surviving, they're changing the earth, and they're starting to notice the silence left behind. That silence is deafening now. The world of 300,000 years ago, with its 7 human species and its giants, is gone. The sapiens stand alone, their fires burning brighter, their voices louder, but the earth feels emptier. The mammoths are fading, the saber-tooths are gone, and the other humans, Neanderthals, Denisovans, the rest are little more than echoes in the bones they leave behind. Let's walk through this new world, the one sapiens have built, and see what it means to be the last one standing. This is the legacy of the human wild, a story of triumph, loss, and the spark that still burns in us today. Look at the caves they leave behind. In places like Lascaux or Chauvet, sapiens paint their world, bison charging across stone, mammoths towering in ochre, handprints reaching out across time. These aren't just drawings. They're stories, confessions, a way to make sense of what they've done. Every stroke of pigment is a question. Did we take too much? Did we break something we can't fix? These early artists aren't just decorating. They're mourning, honoring the creatures they've hunted, the rivals they've outlasted. The caves become shrines, places where sapiens grapple with their power, their responsibility. Those stories don't stay in the caves. Around their fires, sapiens weave tales of the great beasts, the other humans, the world they've lost. A mammoth's charge becomes the rumble of gods. A cave lion's roar becomes a spirit's warning. Even the other humans linger in their myths, Neanderthals as shadowy giants, Denisovans as wanderers from distant lands. These stories aren't just entertainment. They're a way to carry the past, to make sense of a world growing quieter. They're passed down generation to generation, binding sapiens together, giving them a shared identity. They're not just a species, they're a people defined by the stories they tell. That sense of loss shapes them. The sapiens who paint those caves, who tell those stories, aren't just celebrating their survival, they're wrestling with it. They've won, but at what cost? The bones of mammoths and sloths, the tools of Neanderthals, the faint traces of Denisovan DNA in their own, they're reminders of a world that no longer exists. Sapiens didn't set out to conquer, but they did, reshaping the earth in their image. The forests they burned, the herds they hunted, the rivals they outlasted. They're gone, and sapiens are left to carry the weight of that victory. That weight is our inheritance. Today, we're still sapiens, still driven by that restless spark that let our ancestors rise. But we're also repeating their story. The elephants, rhinos, forests, and reefs we lose today are our megafauna, our lost world. The climate we're changing, the ecosystems we're breaking, they're the fires our ancestors lit, now burning out of control. But we have something they didn't: perspective. We can look back at the bones, the caves, the stories, and see where we went wrong. We can choose to do better, to protect what's left, to rebuild what we've broken. That spark, the one that let sapiens outsmart a world of monsters, is still in us. It's in the stories we tell, the tools we build, the dreams we chase. It's the same spark that painted those caves, that turned a band of hunters into a force of nature. We can use it to destroy, or we can use it to heal. The earth is still wild, still alive, still ours to shape. So what will we do with it? That's the question the human wild leaves you with. Let's keep exploring, keep questioning, keep dreaming. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of this ancient world fascinates you most? What do you think we should do with our spark today? And if you love this journey, hit that subscribe button so we can keep diving into the wild together. Until next time, stay wild.